Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy StumpD back from another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're wrapping up the showcase of the ONIGISHIMA trio. So, in today's video, we're taking Law into the Kid Forest. So that was the team, those were the supports. Let's dive in. Alright, bring it on, homeboy. Over here on the Apu stage. I'm going to start the Apu stage for this video, just so we can talk about a few things. Now, this particular team, unlike my Kid and my Luffy showcase, links will be in the description below, isn't exactly global friendly. Now, the big reason I've done that is because I do want to talk about these two particular units being Super Type Law and Ace Sabo. Another reason was I really couldn't find any Cerebral unit that could remove Block Orbs and Bind. There is one, it's the Kizuna Sengoku. So if you do have that unit, you could easily slide them on the team. But Ace Sabo just work really, really nicely here, and I'll talk about why. And it also gives me an opportunity to talk about Ace Sabo as well, as I have already done a bit of a showcase on the unit, and I'll leave that link in the description below. I think I took on the Hawkins Forest with them. So the first time I beat the Hawkins Forest on the global side was with that particular character. So with Law's release, I do believe Law is the most valuable out of the three Onigishima legends, mainly because his final tap, in my opinion, is the best of the three. With Kid, he has AoE damage, which is really cool, and a 4.5 times chain lock when you are at level 5, obviously. But now that we've seen the release of Yamato, it kind of makes that a little bit, I wouldn't say redundant, but it makes it a little bit lackluster. Also with Luffy, Luffy's just built around Unga Bunga damage. He gives himself a 1 orb, he increases his base stat by 1,000 at level 5 tap, which is really, really good to get that final big shot in, but most content, you really don't need it. Like, it's nice to have because it's big numbers, and like Kizuna, it works really, really nicely, but with Law, now I do have my Law at final tap level 5, again, I do not recommend chasing final tap, as good as they sound. They are not game breaking at all. Yamato, like, easily has the best one in my opinion. Law's does give it a run for its money, but with Law's final tap at level 5, he does 20% extra damage from the enemy's HP as end of turn damage, as well as setting the defense to 0 and giving a 3 times conditional boost against defense down. Now, obviously it is conditional. You do need no full immunity and stuff like that. But with Law, he actually goes through resilience. Now, after the Onigishima Trio's release, after all the hype settles down after September, after the Mugiwara Treasure Map Sugo Fest, we do get the release of Legend King and Legend Queen. Both of those legends are very, very powerful. They're, again, not game-breaking, but with their release comes a lot of content that has resilience. Now, I will leave a link in the description below. There's going to be a lot of links for this particular video in the description of my double Law team. I think it was double. Might have been Shanks Crew and Law. Might have been a hybrid team, taking on the content that King and Queen was so good at actually taking on because there was so much resilience. But with Law's final tap mechanic, it allowed you to actually get around that, especially on the final stage, because he gets that 20% extra damage, and it will get through that resilience. Now, I've been rambling away here. If you guys want to try this team, obviously you can't on Global just yet, but if you do want to try this when Ace Sabo comes out, this team does perform very, very well. But this is more of a showcase and a bit of a discussion on Law and Ace Sabo. Another reason why Ace Sabo was so damn good for this particular stage or fight is this particular stage here against Killer. Because Ace is not boosted under Law, Law boosts Cerebral, Slashes, and Dex units. Ace isn't any of those, so we can actually just sort of like do no damage to Killer here, stall the 5 turns, get our Viva Rebecca special back, and it works really, really nicely, even with an unlimited bro keyed Viva Rebecca. It just works very, very nicely. They are one of the only Dex units as well, besides like Kizuna Buggy and stuff like that, that could also rotate Block Orbs and remove Bind. I do have the support of Luffy on them for the 3 turns of Orb boosting, but like that is not essential at all, as I actually am in the Dex variation when I do that, so it doesn't matter at all. And the Sengoku support that I do have on Law as well, it doesn't matter at all. Like I don't even use it. You can use it, like you can use the Law special on the Big Mom stage, I think it is, and get that, but most of the time we're getting the chain lock with Viva Rebecca or a Shanks Crew, so like you can just put a stat booster there if you really, really want to, if you are trying this particular team. But with Ace Sabo's release, Ace Sabo, in my opinion, is the most valuable out of all of these legends. Now, obviously, they are the easiest, well, I'm not going to say the easiest to acquire, because their banner compared to the Onigashima Trio's banner is just dookie, but they do pop up on every Kizuna banner after that, so you do have another chance of picking them up. I went pretty deep for Ace Sabo, and I do think it was definitely worth it. Oh, we're going to have to reload the game here. Something to note on this stage against Big Mom, if she binds Ace Sabo, you need to quickly reload the game, and that way she'll bind someone different, as you guys can see there. But with Ace Sabo, I did go quite deep to get Ace Sabo. They are the only character that can boost the boss token, so if you guys really want to go hard in the Kizuna and you want your alliance to get a really high rank, you ideally want to get your hands on Ace Sabo, because a friend captain of the Onigishima trio will basically just help you guys out when you are taking on the super boss. And there are other ways of taking it down without the Onigishima trio. There's a lot of teams that are floating around, as obviously the content has already released on the Japanese side of the game. But a sabo in the regular Kizuna, so with regular Kizuna, you do your regular runs, but then they drop super boss tokens. But a sabo actually increases those drops. Now, a sabo is actually really, really good for all of the stages. And that way you can just farm up as many of those tokens as possible. And you can do more super boss runs and therefore get a higher rank as well. So what I would recommend doing, and shout out to my boy Captain Papi, he made a very, very good point, and something that I actually sort of glossed over, is if you guys are more free to play or you are looking to sort of maximize your gem counts, what I would recommend doing is skipping the Onigishima banner until the Ace Sabo banner comes out. With the Ace Sabo banner, it comes out in the middle of the Onigishima trio. The Onigishima trio banner is out for like over a month. It's a Super Sugo Fest banner, so like you will have a lot of time to summon on those particular banners. But with a Sabo's release, they're a Kizuna banner, so they're going to come out in the middle of it. So what I would highly recommend for most players that do want to get a very good alliance ranking is what you should do is summon on a Sabo, pick up a Sabo, or do like your 5 multis, whatever you guys want to do on a Sabo's banner. Go to the 25 to get them guaranteed, like whatever you choose to do. Get a Sabo, and then come back to the Onigishima Trio banner with whatever gems you have left. Now, whichever unit you guys decide to go for from now, I do think Law is the most valuable out of the 3. But if you do have a Sabo, Super Type Luffy's value just increases so drastically because a Sabo's part of their kit is they are a free spirit shooter booster for their special, giving 3 turns of an orb boost as long as you have a Luffy on the team, or Luffy as a support on them. Now, it's not essential to have this Super Type Luffy. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can put any Luffy on a Sabo and it'll work absolutely fine. But Luffy's the highest attack boost for the Free Spirit class. With a 2.5 times orb boost, 2 Luffys as your captains. For 2 turns, sorry, you're going to have a lot of damage. Then you have Roger in there as well. Or actually, now I'm thinking about it, Roger's probably the highest attack damage. So if you have Roger, I guess you don't really need Luffy. And then you can go for Law, I guess. At the end of the day, it's really up to you, however you want to do it. But a Sabo, for this celebration, if you guys want to maximize your rewards for all of the events that are coming, a Sabo is going to be the way to go. But in saying that too, like, there is going to be a lot of free gems coming up towards the Yamato banner as well, where the Onigishima trio re-release. So Law, Kid, and Luffy all come back on the Yamato banner. They come back over 3 parts on that banner, where it's Luffy and Law on one banner, and then it's Law and Kid on the next, and then it's Kid and Luffy. So depending on what you're missing, you can sort of like weasel your way around and sort of summon on that particular banner to see if you can pick up these Super Sugo Fest exclusives as well. But just be mindful, like, these characters came out 4, 5, maybe 6 months ago on Japan, so there is a little bit of a gap before they come back. So if you're a big fan of Law, if you're a big fan of Luffy and you really like these characters, their banners, the Onigishima Trio banners, their rates are really, really good. Hopefully we do get discounts, unlike Japan, because like that has always been a global thing. But in saying that too, the banner structure lately hasn't been all that great over on global. So hopefully they do what Japan does and they compensate with some really, really good gem sales. Either or, for myself, like, I'd prefer the gem sales. As a whale, it helps me out drastically, but for free-to-play players, obviously I do understand that the better banner structure is more likely or a higher chance of you acquiring these very powerful legends, or acquiring legends that you are missing. Another thing to note too is part 1 of the Onigishima Trio banners has literally every single legend on it. Now, that can be good, that can be bad, it obviously depends on RNG and your luck, but for me personally, like on my global account, I'm still missing Bonnie as well, and I'm missing the 3 Onigishima Trio, where if I summon on just Law's part, I only really have a chance of pulling 1 new legend. On part 1, even though it's probably a lower chance of me pulling those legends, there is more variety for me to pull. Obviously, it depends on how deep you want to go and stuff like that as well. All these characters are guaranteed on the 25th multi, and on part 1, if you go to the 25th multi, you actually get one of the 3, and on the 20th multi, or it might be the 30th multi, might be the 30th, but on the 20th multi, you get a Super Sugo Fest guaranteed character. So if you're missing something like Roger and Odin as well, there's always a chance to pick them up as well. And if you were unlucky enough to miss Roger, or you were unlucky to miss Odin when their release first came out, and you didn't pick them up on the Luffy Sanji banner, then you are going to have that opportunity to pick them up once again, which is really, really cool, because they are still very, very good legends. In my opinion, Roger alongside a Sabo is the most valuable legends in the game. And the beautiful thing about the two is they're both free spirit characters. You can run them hybrid, which works really, really nicely. And because it's an ace character, Roger actually activates his super typing. So there is that option for you as well. Like, if you are missing Roger, like, I would be summoning on these Super Fest banners if you are missing Roger, if it was me. Purely because we don't know when Roger's coming back. And Odin as well. But look, Odin's definitely nowhere near as valuable as Roger. But we just don't know when Roger will be coming back. And unfortunately, that's a bit of a scary thing. Because even with the release of Yamato, we are getting her 6+ very, very soon. But even with the release of some of these really crazy legends like Page 1 Ulti and Yamato and King and Queen. And like, there's so much going on the Japanese side of the game that Roger doesn't come back on the Yamato banners. So maybe New Year's will be the next time we see Roger. But in saying that too, for global players, that could be even longer. Now, there is the argument too that skip the Onigishima trio and just wait for Yamato. That way you can just sort of pick them up then, especially if you already have Roger. Which does make a little bit of sense to me, but just remember too that global is meant to be speeding up and joining the same timeline as Japan, but everything seems to be happening on Japan and nothing seems to be happening on global. Now, I don't know if that's just me that feels that, but playing both sides of the game, like lately I'm just way more excited to play Japan. Now, I have already done the content on global, so I get that there isn't that new excitement factor, but global just seems so much slower. It seems so much more clunkier than Japan, and the fact that it's meant to be catching up is just, it's a bit mind-boggling to me that that is the case, when everything I see is happening on Japan, and all these cool things are happening on Japan, and they've stated that global will be catching up. Now, I don't think that it's not going to happen, but some people are saying that Yamato's going to be coming out in 3 months. Some people say Yamato's going to be coming out in 6 months. In my eyes, if they are truly going to speed the game up and get them on the same level anytime soon, Yamato's not coming out in for another 6 to 9 months, in my opinion. So I have heard a lot of whispers about double content starting from December, and moving forward from there, we're going to be getting double treasure maps, double pirate rumble units, basically just double everything, which is fine. But for most global players, if they speed it up too much, it's going to lose interest. Well, some players are going to lose interest. There's going to be a lot of testing of summoning on banners. But like I said, in my eyes, Japan can't slow down. It physically can't, because it's unfair to the Japanese side of the game and the Japanese player base, which I know sounds a bit discriminative, but it is the preferred version. It's where it started, it's where it's originated, and it's where most of its effort goes. So the fact that they would just ignore Japan and focus on global consistently, in my eyes, is it's just not going to happen. And because of that, I don't really see Japan and global being on the same timeline before the end of the year. It's physically, in my eyes, it's physically not possible, as they have stated that Tokyo will be coming out in November. So I feel like the theory of double content coming from December onwards is the way to go. So if that is the case, getting the games on the same timeline, in my eyes, won't be happening until July next year. So take what you want from all of this. If it was me, I'd be summoning for a sabo, throwing a few multis there, maybe going back for lore, and then hanging on to your gems. There's a lot to come in September, but every character basically up until Yamato's banner after this Super Success is skippable, so just be mindful of that too. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's showcase. It was a lot of talking, a lot of rambling, but if you did enjoy it, make sure to go down there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel too. Hit that big red subscribe button. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching. Again, global players, get keen. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.